Nicky and the twins, the lost rabbit. Nicky was feeling rather nervous. Mum and Dad were taking her to the dentist for a checkup, and the prospect was making her go very fluttery inside. This was a job for her old rabbit, Mr. Bob, Nicky decided. Now, why was he in the twins' toy box? But Nicky's teeth were fine, and visiting the dentist turned out to be fun. In fact, Nicky relaxed such a lot she forgot Mr. Bob. "Does this belong to you?" said the lady receptionist. The twins seemed pleased to see him too. A few days later, Nicky was feeling rather nervous again. She was going to stay the night at Granny's house without Mum and Dad. This was a job for Mr. Bob, Nicky decided. Now, why was he in the twins' cupboard? But Nicky had a terrific time with her "Here's what we'll do, peekaboo Granny." In fact, Nicky relaxed such a lot she forgot Mr. Bob. "Hang on," Granny yelled. "You've left someone behind." The twins stopped yelling as well. A few days later, Nicky was feeling rather nervous again. Everyone at ballet class had to dance alone for all the mums and dads. This was a job for Mr. Bob, Nicky decided. Now, why was he in the twins' drawer? But Nicky did a wonderful dance, and Mrs. Tyson said she was the star of the show. In fact, Nicky relaxed such a lot, she forgot Mr. Bob. Yours, I believe?" Mrs. Tyson called. The twins seemed very relieved. A few days later, Nicky was feeling rather nervous again. She had been invited to a special tea at her friend Anna's house. Nicky was worried. She didn't know what to wear. This was a job for Mr. Bob, Nicky decided. Now, why was he in the twins' bedside cabinet? But Nicky enjoyed herself more than she had ever done before. In fact, she relaxed such a lot, she forgot Mr. Bob. But the twins certainly didn't. Oh no, they hugged and hugged him and wouldn't let him go. A few days later, Nicky was feeling rather nervous again. Mum and Dad were taking her to the clinic for her preschool booster. This was definitely a job for Mr. Bob, Nicky decided. Now, why was he in the twins' bed? But Nicky found out she didn't have much to worry about at all. In fact, the booster hurt, but not a lot, so she relaxed and forgot Mr. Bob. "I don't think he wants a jab, does he?" laughed the doctor, and the twins certainly seemed to agree. That night, Nicky kept an eye on the twins and on Mr. Bob. Everywhere that Mr. Bob went, the twins were close behind. The twins loved Mr. Bob, Nicky realised, and she knew that she didn't mind at all. A few days later, Nicky felt rather nervous again. She was going to school for the very first time, and she felt quite fluttery inside. But she didn't need Mr. Bob, she decided. No, Nicky had another job for him, staying at home to look after the twins. The end.